We're now live on YouTube, starting us up on Rumble. And good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for important and interesting happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The sources of this, well, actually, I am Xander.
King's Refuge.
And you, viewer, are you. I was almost going off of memory from the old script. And today is Freya's Day, aka Friday, August 23rd, 2024. So, good Sir King, would you care to start us off?
I know I'm a little behind here. I had to get coffee and all that. Give me a second here.
No worries. I will start us off here then. The year 79, Mount Vesuvius began stirring on the feast day of Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. This went on to destroy Pompeii, and this is the approximate date. So, wow, what a very ominous, coincidence. Like, on the feast day of Vulcan, the Roman god of fire, the volcano starts stirring. Like, that just, man, like, that's a forewarning if there ever was one. Like, theologic or not. Moving on up to 406, we have the battle at Florence. Stilicho's Roman army defeated Radagasius's barbarians. Oh, alright. I wonder if he was named after Radagast. Actually, no, that's... What god is Radagast? Is he...
I haven't a clue. Never heard of that one.
He's Greek. No, he's not Greek. He's Norse. He's Norse. That's right. Yeah, no, I initially knew about Radagast through Smite, the original one at least, from like years ago and everything. But he became a character in God of War Ragnarok. He gets annoyed at you if you keep hitting the bell or something. It's funny. Anyway,
yeah, that's how I know about. Oh, what's that guy? The freeze guy, the giant guy. Tank. Ymir. That's how you know about Ymir.
Oh. Ymir.
Smite.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, yeah. Ymir was the frost giant, right?
Yeah.
Did you get the when it was still in beta? Did you get that $30 thing that unlocked the Kako demon skin for him?
Nope.
Aw, man. Anyway, moving on up, 476, Odoacer was proclaimed king of Italy by his troops, the first barbarian king of Italy. Oh, not to be the last. Benito Mussolini. What do we got here in 1046?
I'm so close. Just keep...
Okay. We have King Henry III gave money to the Utrecht Deventer diocese. Sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot or anything. I don't know where you're at. So, the Roman Catholic Diocese of Deventer. The Diocese of Deventer is a suppressed former diocese. Diocese? I don't even know how to pronounce that word. Of the Catholic Church in what is now the Netherlands. Well, first off, what is this diocese? In church governance, diocese or bishopric is the ecclesiastical district under the jurisdiction of a jurisdiction of a bishop. Why can't I talk? Okay, so it's something with governments. Like, my mind is already starting to fog up because I was like, I don't want to learn, blah blah blah. I want to chill. So he gave money to this particular district thingy. Okay, so that's what that means. All right, what else do we got here? 1059, the Treaty of Melfi. Pope Nicholas II recognized the Norman conquest of southern Italy by appointing Norman adventurer Robert Guiscard Duke of Apulia and Calabria and Count of Sicily. That is a lot of ands right there. You're the Duke of this and this and that and this. And would you like a ham hock? I don't know. 1305, Scottish patriot William Wallace was executed for high treason by Edward I of England at Smithfield, London. Freedom! So, yeah, good old William Wallace. I believe he was drawn and quartered. Let's see here. William Wallace. He was beheaded, drawn, and quartered, right? Cause of death: King Edward the First of England had him hanged, drawn, and quartered for high treason and crimes against English civilians. Yeah, so not beheaded, but hanged, drawn, and quartered, which means like essentially after they hang you, they tie your wrists and your ankles to 4 different horses, and they all go off in different ways at the same time, and you just literally get ripped apart. That's one hell of an execution, but I think we should bring that back. You know,
Sell tickets.
yeah, yeah. Make it pay-per-view. Like, I subscribe to the whole George Carlin thing about like putting all of like the really bad, like the legitimately bad criminals into one
We need
state.
to trial a lot more people for treason.
Yeah,
We haven't had a good treason trial in a while.
we need legitimate ones. And I'm not gonna name names right here, but you know. Pretty sure a lot of people out there watching this show are thinking of a lot of the same names that are going through my head right now. So.
No.
Yep. What do we got here in 1328?
1328, Battle of Castle. French troops stop uprising of Flemish farmers.
So yeah, like right there, they stopped the uprising of the farmers. So as I keep saying, the power always has been and always will be in the people. So they had to stop an uprising of farmers.
That sounds gross. No one should be farming phlegm.
That is nasty, bro. Oh my god. That sounds like
14. Yeah.
I was just gonna say it sounds like something out of like a Star Wars spin-off Rick and Morty or something. I don't know.
Flemish farmers. Flemish farmers. Rick and Morty. We gotta get some of that phlegm.
It feeds my portal gun, Morty. You don't even understand.
1441, Holland and Handses didn't sign ceasefire treaty.
Oh, that's interesting. So, like, Holland. You wouldn't think that Holland would be fighting anybody, Like,
different times.
Yep.
1500, Governor Francisco de Bobadilla, Tom Bobadilla, arrives in the Indies soon, after arrest, and sends former Governor Christopher Columbus back to Spain in chains.
Whoa, so this guy came and arrested Christopher Columbus.
He arrives in the Indian. Wow.
Yeah. That's
wild.
He's like, hey, I discovered a whole new section of the planet. Yeah, that's great. You're under arrest. What?
1514, Battle of... I wonder if that's where you got the name. Bombadil.
Tom Bombadil? I don't know. Like...
It's an obscure fact in history right there.
Yeah.
1514, Battle of Chaldiran ended with a decisive victory for the Sultans. Selim the First Ottoman Empire over Shah Ismail the First, Safavids founders of Safavids.
Safavid? Your guess is as good as mine. But yeah, like from the sounds of it, it sounds like he founded that city or that people or whatever. He founded something, and then he got it taken from him. Ain't that a kick in the head? Go ahead.
41, French explorer Jacques Cartier lands near Quebec City in his third voyage to Canada, accompanied by 5 ships to 1,500 people to establish a colony. Colony fails after 2 years. Womp womp.
Oh, they gave it a shot. Yeah. 1542 here we have Rabbi Joseph Caro completed his commentary of Turcode. What is Turcode? Is this one of the many religious doctrines? Arabatirim. often simply called the Tur, is an important halakhic code composed by Yaakov ben Ashir. Okay, the four-part structure of the Tur and its division into chapters or synonyms were adopted by the later code Shulchan Aruch. This was the first book to be printed in Southeast Europe and the Near East. Wow. Huh. So he did a commentary about that book. And this was back in 1340. So this was roughly... Actually, this was like 212 years after this was published. That's pretty interesting. Huh. 1566, Beeldenstorm reached Amsterdam. Okay, I wonder why that's documented, why that matters. Beeldenstorm. Okay, who is this? In Dutch, and Bilderstrom in German, roughly translatable from both languages as attack on the images or statues. Oh, that's kind of relevant. Are terms used for outbreaks of destruction of religious images that occurred in Europe in the 16th century, known in English as the Great Iconoclasm or Iconoclastic Fury, and in French as a Furie Iconoclaste. During these spades of iconoclasm, Catholic art and many forms of church fittings and decorations were destroyed in unofficial or mob actions by Calvinist Protestants, known crowds as the part of the Protestant Reformation. Most of the destruction was of art in churches and public places. Wow. Like, this is incredibly relevant to today. That's going on, not just religiously against the Christians, but, like, historically against anything that they deem offensive or whatever. They're getting rid of all the statues. Like, have you been seeing those videos about, like, schools getting rid of literally hundreds of books that are now banned? Like...
In Europe?
Oh, no, well, here, yeah, of course in Europe, but over here, too. Like, this is... So, the Beeldenstorm reached Amsterdam. So, the act of, during the Protestant Reformation, just randomly going out and destroying Catholic, art, tapestries, statues, whatever, like burning books, essentially. The act of doing that reached Amsterdam. And I'm like, wow, that's happening, like, in Europe. That's happening in the U.S. right now, There's a massive war against Christianity and, against Western culture as an entirety, and civilization. Like, they're knocking down all of our statues and everything, banning things off the internet, banning books out of schools. Like,
yeah.
Very relevant.
And searching other books.
Yeah, I don't even want to get
books
into
you're not allowed to quote in parent-teacher conferences, but are somehow still allowed to be in school.
Yeah, that's I don't disagree with you, and I know exactly that path, but I don't want...
you can't go complain about it, but then you get put on a FBI list.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, trying to pass off concerned mothers as domestic terrorists, because that makes sense. Well, anyway, let's get back to history here. What do we got in 1595?
1595. Hey. 1595, Michael the Brave confronts the Ottoman army in the Battle of Kalugarina.
So did he do it by himself? Is that probably why he's called the Brave? Like, it sounds like one guy is taking on the whole army.
I guess. Michael the Brave. Sounds like a movie. They have it.
Michael the Brave, brought to you by Michael Bay and explosions.
Yeah. 1614. University of Groningen opens.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that's 410 years ago. Is it still even around? Actually, let me look that up here really quick. I was not initially planning to, but yeah, 410 years. Yeah, they're still around. Wow. Yeah. Huh. They had 34,000 students in 2020.
Wow.
Well, that's pretty cool. 410 years ago. And they're still going. Awesome. Keep it up.
1617, first one-way street opens in London. Oh, right.
Huh.
Too bad they're driving the wrong direction.
You have one direction and you're going the wrong one. Isn't that society right there though?
That has to be different. They stupid Americans. We're gonna do it this way.
Yeah. Well, they got something going on with those roundabouts though. Although you bring it over here and people just they don't know how to
Oh
operate
yeah,
them.
no,
Like
not at all.
anyway, 1711, a British fleet under Admiral Hovenden Walker lost 950 men when 8 ships floundered on rocks at Isle aux Oufs on their way to attack Quebec. Well, pretty sure most of them had a stroke trying to pronounce that correctly. That's probably why they floundered. But, I just see, like, now it obviously happens. I just can't understand how when a ship runs aground, how people can suddenly die. You're just running aground. You're not falling from the sky or anything. Like unless you're, like stumbling from the rigging or like some beam breaks and you fly directly at it chest first or some crazy Final Destination type shenanigans. But like how does 950 men when 8 ships flounder on rocks? Like
Yeah.
they're on rocks. Are they sinking? Like how do you lose 950 men like that? Am I stupid? Like, am I not understanding something, or does that just seem ridiculous?
Flounder. Maybe they had, I don't know. Maybe it was jagged and all 8 ships were busted up.
Maybe some kind of freak accident. I don't know, but yeah,
Like
like
a
obviously it's
nine,
possible because
like
it
a
happened.
9-car pileup or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
With ships.
I don't know. I gotta see a simulation to make me understand. Like maybe I just because I'm more of a visual learner. I don't know. Anyway, what else do we got here?
1784, Eastern Tennessee settlers declared their area an independent state and name it Franklin. A year later, the Continental Congress says, hell no.
But yeah, no, the people in that area they still like believe themselves to be a state. Like they obviously don't have recognition and stuff, but they handle themselves as their own state. Like they have their own unofficial like constitution, their unofficial legislator, like Congress, all whatever a state government has, they have their own little thing in their own little pocket, and they're not the only ones in the U.S. at least. I'm pretty sure there's things like this all over the world, but like there's I forgot what they're called, but up in the Pacific Northwest, that whole area, like they're named after like that, like some kind of mountain range or something. I keep wanting to say the Appalachians, but that's
Alicia,
not.
man.
Is that where Appalachia is, or the Pacific Northwest?
Up that way, I think so.
Where is the Appalachians? Okay, well that's giving me school districts. Okay, that's weird. Anyway, what else do we have here? 1789.
French Revolution, the National Assembly proclaims freedom of religious opinions.
Ooh, I'm all for that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, and look at this. The French, they're revolting again 4 years later.
Another French Revolution, the National Convention adopts the levy in masse, conscripting all able-bodied men between 18 and 25 for military service during the French Revolutionary Wars.
Ah. So we all know what en masse means, en masse, like just take everything. So like levy en masse, if I'm translating it correctly, it means just like levy, just everybody between 18 and 25. If you can fire a weapon and run, then guess what? You're a soldier now. One more 1700.
1799, Napoleon leaves Egypt, France, en route to seize power.
Ooh. And yeah, like the entirety of Europe. I just saw a meme earlier today Like there's been this meme going on with like it's just a map of Europe, and it's like if you had the power to choose which one country in Europe would you get rid of, and everybody's shitting on France. Everybody's like, oh, as a Belgian, I have to say France. As a German, I have to say France. As an Italian, I have to say France. It's like, wow, you all are just still salty about Napoleon, aren't you? You know, he kicked their asses so hard, like they're feeling it hundreds of years later still. Like, pathetic. Anyway, getting on up into the 1800s, 1838, Mount Holyoke Female Seminary, South Hadley, Massachusetts, first graduating class. First graduating class. That's pretty cool. What's a seminary? Like, Mount Holyoke Female Seminary. 1839, British captured Hong Kong from China. Ugh. We all know how that plays out. 1850.
I'm sorry, what?
You're trying to make ship noises?
No, I'm blowing on my coffee. It's hot as hell.
Oh, I thought you were trying to do thing. Let's see if I can do it with my juice.
I overheated it.
Oh.
Damn microwave.
1850, we have the first U.S. National Women's Rights Convention convened in Worcester, Massachusetts. All right. I'm all for that. 1869, the first carload of rail freight boots and shoes arrived in San Francisco from Boston after a 16-day trip. Hey, look at that. Those boots were made for walking, but they took the train instead. Speaking of San Francisco, what else do we got here?
San Francisco. 1872, first Japanese commercial ship visits San Francisco carrying tea.
Tea?
Imagine that.
They dare drink leaf juice? We all know that bean juice is superior.
Yes. 1873, Albert Bridge crossing the River Thames in London opens.
I want to see what that looks like. I'll go to StreamYard. Thames in London. Let's see here. Okay, so that's a cool looking bridge. Not bad. I like how they have the suspension cords lit up. They don't really have that often, as far as I'm aware. So, yeah, I'd like to visit that bridge. It looks pretty cool. Uno mas. Oh, wow. You look like you're about to get attacked.
Demand my hand. No. What were we at? 1711?
We're at 1883.
Philadelphia Quakers make 27 errors
27
against the Providence Grays, 27-8 shutout defeat at Mr. Street's grounds. Wild pitches, walks, pass the ball count as errors. MLB prior to 1888. Oh wow!
Wow, 27 errors like that. Whoops!
Whoops!
Watching a bunch of amateurs play. 1889, we have the first ship-to-shore wireless message. Sherman is sighted, received in the U.S. from lightship number 70 to a coastal receiving station at Cliff House in San Francisco. Man, what is it, San Francisco Day or something? Like, that's like the third article we've had today about San Fran. 1896, first cry of the Philippine Revolution was made in Pugat-Lawin, Quezon City, in the province of Manila. Another revolution. 1900, the National Negro Business League organized in Boston. All right. 1903, Sixth Zionist Congress, Theodore Herzl declared Jewish state. That sounds a little alarming there. Zionists declaring any state, really. Like, Zionists are very terrifying. If anybody out there, if you don't know what a Zionist is, look it up. It is a sect of Judaism that is incredibly not good and really alarming. Why, with today's, like, all the wars going on about, like, culture this, culture that, like, you can't do this, you can't say that, all that crap. Yet some areas are just allowed, to be openly, hateful and discriminatory, but for whatever reason. Anyway, 1904, the automobile tire chain was patented. Ooh. So, now we can drive rear wheel drive or something, right? I don't know. What do we got in 1906?
Cuba's first president, Holmes Estrada Palma, asked for U.S. intervention.
Huh. I'm. That's not
Intervention
this.
for what?
I don't know. Let me look that up here.
1906?
Yeah, it wasn't during the Spanish-American War. Provisional Government of Cuba.
Oh.
This period was also referred to as the second occupation of Cuba. Well, it was some political something, and they were asking U.S.'s help for something. Like, maybe, like, military assistance to ensure their government stayed, but we didn't care. I'm not sure. They should have said they had oil. So. But there's one before it about Chicago.
I see Pittsburgh.
No, scroll up.
1906. Chicago White Sox win 19 straight, beating Washington Senators 4-1 at American League Park.
Nice. 19 straight. That's impressive. And if you want, you can have the Pirates as well.
1907, Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher Howie Clements, no hits. New York Giants 1-0 in 5-inning game at the Polo Grounds, New York City.
5 innings? That seems a little short. I wonder if they got rained out or something.
Yeah.
1910, Fred and Clark made a record 4 outfield assists for Pittsburgh. All right. 1 year later, British Prime Minister H. Asquith held secret meeting about British strategy in case of war with Germany. Ooh. So they're, behind closed doors, hush, hush. That's, I don't like it when they do stuff like that. I mean, I do like it when it's revealed, but I don't like that it's happening. Like, they knew that there was going to be a war. They're constantly misleading people. But, then again, you don't want people in panic and everything and all that stuff. But, I mean, they knew something was going to happen, and they held a secret meeting about their strategy in case of an outbreak of war with Germany, which eventually did happen 3 years later.
Yeah.
I don't know. They've been always like, super obscure, like I would argue even more so today, especially with like all the stuff that they have to duck, dodge, and know about to avoid and everything. Like, you can't be secret easily anymore. So 1914, between now and the 24th, so between now and tomorrow, German troops plundered Belgium. Ew. Plundered Belgium. Can't believe I almost said that. The troops that come in there with a big plunger. Just lift up Belgium. What else do we got in 1914?
1914, Jen von Hausen executes 612 inhabitants of Dinant, Belgium.
Yeah, so that's got to be part of the plundering thing. That's not good. But this next one raised my eyebrow.
1914, Japan declares war on Germany in World War One.
Huh. That's interesting. I mean, to a lot of people, that would seem very strange, but, this happened before World War II. So if anything's strange, it's the fact that they were allies the next go-around. Oh my god. I wonder what they will be. Actually, no, they're already allies again. There's a whole meme going around that there's a picture of German and Japanese forces, and they're holding each other's respective flags and everything. And it's like we're just waiting for Italy to join them, and then we know what's going to go on. 1915.
1915, Tsar Nicholas II takes control of Russian army.
So he's just like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to take over. Essentially, fine, I'll do it myself, as he puts on the Infinity Gauntlet of Russia. Tsarist Russia. 1916, we have Military Court of Berlin sentenced socialist Karl Liebknecht to 4 years. Why can't I read today? I'm out of practice. 3 days. I'm already this bad already. But wow, so good. They did a good thing, you know. 1917, race riot in Houston, Texas. 2 blacks and 11 whites were killed. That is awful. 1919, Gasoline Alley cartoon strip premiered in Chicago Tribune. And let's see. Let's take a look at this Gasoline Alley. What did it look like? You know, doesn't there's a film? Oh my god. It can't be of the same premise. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. Comic. Let's see here. Gasoline Alley. Okay, why is it so small? All right. Well, that's what it looked like. What do we got here in 1920?
American swimmer Warren Keola wins first of 2 consecutive Olympic gold medals in the 100-meter backstroke, beating teammate Ray Kagaris at the Antwerp Games.
Nice. 2 consecutive. It's impressive.
Yeah. 1920, Mary Roberts, Reinhardt, and Avery Roberts play the Bat, based on Reinhardt's novel, The Circular Staircase, premieres on Broadway in New York.
Huh. All right. That sounds interesting. I wonder if they can, you know, they still have the script and all that stuff, if they can revitalize that. It's been 100 years. They should bring back some of the old stuff. Oh, this next one was really interesting.
1921, Austria and the U.S. formally end war. The U.S. does the same with Germany on the 25th, Hungary on the 20th.
So, up until these respective dates, you know, in 1921, 3 years after the declaration of war is ended, like everything is over, we're still technically at war with these countries, but we're not fighting. And then this is when we declare it officially over. Politics are weird, huh? You know?
Yeah.
1923, Captain Lowell Smith and Lieutenant John P. Richter performed the first mid-air refueling on de Havilland DH-4B, setting an endurance flight record of 37 hours. Woo! So I wonder if there's a, if I can find a picture of this. Yeah, so that's where this picture comes from. This looks familiar, right? You've seen this. So this took place on this date in 1938. 1938, right? No, 1923. Wow, that's... I just read it. Why am I already, like, well over a decade ahead of myself in my head? That is wild, though. Like, biplanes refueling each other. That, like... That's not something you see every day. Here's another picture.
Yeah.
Looks so crazy. And it looks like there's a guy in the back. He's, like, holding the hose. I mean, you won't have, like, that automated stuff that we have these days, you know, with magnets and all that jazz. 1923, Paavo Nurmi of Finland ran world record for 1 mile, 4 minutes, 10.4 seconds in Stockholm. This record lasted until 1931. All right. And now we have, you know, the 4-minute mile and the under 4-minute mile and all that stuff. 1924, Mars' closest approach to Earth since 10th century. Woo. Cool. And then 1929, Arabs attacked Jews in Israel, but there was no Israel until 1948. So what are they talking about in 1929? The lands of Israel? Is that what they mean? What, like, because there wasn't a country of Israel until 48, right? Like,
Something like that.
I don't know. Because, see, like, it's things like this, that really make me worried that they're trying to rewrite history and make it seem like Israel has always been there, when in actuality it hasn't. All it takes is, like, one or two generations, and you can lose an entire, knowledge. So, I don't know. 1930, what do we have?
First British Empire Games close in Hamilton, Canada.
All right.
1931, Philadelphia A's lefty Grove loses 1-0 Browns after winning 16 straight.
Huh. You sound a little distant. Test.
1933, first televised boxing match. Oh, shit. There we go.
Oh wow, now you're much louder. You did have it fixed, and now you're even louder. Now you're on the other side of the problem.
Here.
Still a little loud, but we can handle it.
Here.
That's good.
1933, first televised boxing match, 6-round exhibition at Broadcasting House in London between middleweights and Archie Sexton at Laurie Rectory, aired by BBC TV.
Wow. I remember going to some family's house to see the pay-per-view. Why can't I remember the guy who has a lisp? What's his face? Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield, the fight where he bit his ear off. I saw that on pay-per-view at a family's house. Yeah, I never have been into boxing or anything like that. We just went there because
Where were you when Mike Tyson bit Holyfield's ear off?
Oh yeah, no, I saw it happen in front of my very eyes live. Yeah, but it's wild. So like on this date in 1933, the first televised boxing match, like the very first. So that like that's so many things. Like we take for granted. We don't think about and all that jazz. But it's just like it's amazing where when it started, how far we've gone, where we're at now, and where we're gonna head. The possibilities are endless. But we got another 1933 here.
Sorry, what year?
33 as well.
33, man. Mahatma Gandhi released from Indian jail following another hunger strike.
I was wondering when I first saw that, I'm like, I wonder what would have happened if they just let him starve himself to death.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. It's like, what's that? We don't have to provide resources for you to survive. Okay, bye. 1936, a 17-year-old Cleveland Indians future Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Bob Feller's first MLB game as a starter struck out 15 St. Louis Browns in 4-1 win at League Park, Cleveland. Wow, he proved himself on the field that day, didn't he? First MLB game as a starter and took out 15. Yeah, you've secured your spot there, feller. 1938, You Can't Take It With You, from the play by George S. Kaufman and Moss Hart, directed by Frank Capra, and starring James Stewart and Jean Arthur, premiered, later to receive the Best Picture in 1939. All right, that's really interesting. That's why I really have the that play one. I actually went back and put that in afterwards when I got to this point in researching, because it's really interesting. We had a play that was based off a book, and then now we have a movie based off of a play. How things are transitioning. The whole video killed the radio star. Well, now there is actually a song, legitimately, the internet killed the video star. after this video, of course, go look that up. It's really interesting. 1939, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union agreed to the Molotov-Ribbentrop Non-Aggression Pact and secretly divided Poland between themselves, setting the stage for World War II. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. Everybody knows about Germany's invasion of Poland, but they don't talk about, Russia, who had an equal hand. That's a little strange. You know how history favors the Soviets over the fascists. Like, they're both awful in their own ways. Like, many equal. Like, what does your dog think he's a woodpecker or something?
Trying to give me a kiss.
Ah.
I'm not letting her.
Anyway, let's move on into 1940.
1940, Germany Luftwaffe begins night bombing on London.
I'm sorry. You said Luftwaffe.
Oh, Luftwaffe.
I don't know why that hit me so hard. Like, the Germany Luftwaffe. No, but yeah, remember, wait, were you around this past talk show when we played that whole radar thing? Like at the beginning?
I don't believe so.
Alright. Well, let's see if I can find it here really quick. Actually, I'll just add it into the underbar as well. Hold on, I'll just search up my it's about carrots and all that stuff. It's really interesting. So, carrots. Here it is. All right, so this is really interesting. Let me play this here for both of us. This was given to me by Peets. Remember Peets? Jacob Peets? So.
Today we're talking about death rays, carrots, and how Great Britain's kind of sort of responsible for the creation of Bugs Bunny. Okay, look, if you don't know, pretty much every country involved in World War II is committed to spending a lot of time, money, and effort to coming up with new and creative ways to unalive one another. And early on, Team Bad Guy would invest a lot of time and effort to coming up with a death ray, because that's not the most cliche bad guy thing to do ever. You know what, actually, I take that back. That's probably where the cliche comes from. Anyways, Great Britain, aka the USB, would find out about this pretty early on and proceed to do what the USB does best. They stole it. I mean, tactically acquired it. You know what, let's just be honest. Historically speaking, the USB treats anything of historical or cultural significance the same way a tweaker treats a catalytic converter. I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying it happened. I mean, let's face it. If grandma passes away and leaves you a nice vase, there is a greater than 0% chance that Britain's gonna try to come take it. Anyway, so Britain ends up developing a death ray and theirs doesn't work and neither do the bad guys. But what Britain figures out is that if you turn the death ray down, you can actually use it to track airplanes while they're in flight. This would lead to the invention of the first radar. They then proceeded to equip radar up and down their entire coastline. That way, anytime the enemy bombers approached, they had enough time to scramble their own fighting planes to go and stop the bombing run. And this actually worked really well right up until it didn't. Eventually, the enemy figured out that if they did the bombings at night, they were far more effective. This is because the British airplanes didn't actually have a...
And that's why, like, I'll continue this video, but that's why I bring this up, because this is when they began their night bombing. So, like, and because of this. So we're literally, like, this section is a piece of history. We're seeing it. I find this awesome. So
radar inside of them, so once they were in the air, they were unable to locate the bombers at night. Because of the success of these bombing raids, two things happened. One, London imposed a blackout, meaning at night, no one was supposed to have lights on to make it harder for the bombers to actually see where the city was. And two, they would develop the AI radar, which stands for aerial interception. And this would be the first radar that was actually inside of a fighter plane. Once the Royal Air Force pilots had onboard radar, they began fucking up the enemy bombing runs so bad that people began asking questions. I mean, for example, they had guys like John Cat Eyes Cunningham, who was a fighter ace credited with downing 20 enemy bombers, 19 of which were at night. Do you understand how insane that is? You only have to down 5 enemy aircrafts to become an ace. This guy did more than 3 times that, and it was in the fucking dark. And when people start asking questions about how that was humanly possible, you want to know what the official British government answer was? He eats a lot of carrots so he can see good at night. Could you imagine getting your entire Air Force's ass beat by like one dude, and the official response is he ate his fruits and vegetables? Like, the British Army's got the Lee Enfield rifle, but the Royal Air Force has the literally in carrot. And the craziest part about this whole thing is everyone actually believed it. You see, World War II, everybody was short on a lot of different resources. Britain in particular was short on food. But one thing they had an abundance of was carrots. So they started telling everybody that their war heroes were eating a bunch of carrots and it helped them see better at night, which coincidentally was really beneficial because London and other cities along the coast were having blackouts every night, so they couldn't see at night. Realizing how incredibly convenient this lie was, Britain launched an enormous propaganda campaign. They began making up all kinds of crazy carrot recipes and putting them in the newspapers. They even began making cartoons trying to inspire children to eat more carrots. A bandwagon that even America hopped on, creating maybe the most iconic cartoon character of all time, Bugs Bunny. Yeah, you remember being at the grocery store trying to convince your mom to buy those big carrots so you could go, what's up, Doc? Just like Bugs Bunny on TV? Congratulations, that's probably the first time you fell for propaganda and it won't be the last. Buh! I didn't fall for propaganda because carrots actually are good for your eyes. Buh! Yes, carrots have vitamin A and beta carotene in it, which are good to maintain your current eye health. Eating a bunch of carrots will not give you supervision. Kind of like how going on a diet might make you lighter, but going on a really intense diet isn't going to make you fucking float. See how that works? Anyways, the point I'm trying to get across is that this propaganda campaign was extremely successful. Not only did it work on the British and American civilian population, but it worked on the enemy as well. Allegedly, there was accounts that the bad guys' leadership started forcing their pilots to eat carrots to the point that they turned orange. And now, to be intellectually honest, I do have to tell you that there are a lot of historians that do not believe that, because there wasn't any actual documentation. However, I think to some extent they fell for the propaganda, considering that it is still a worldwide misconception that carrots give you night vision. And it's also worth considering, even if the bad guys didn't fall for the propaganda, it was still a humongous morale boost to the Royal Air Force. I mean, think about how happy you would be if you were a pilot with fancy new top secret radar technology and you were knocking down enemy planes left and right, and you knew that the enemies thought it was because you were using carrots as a performance enhancing drug. That shit would be fucking hilarious. You know for a fact those pilots were feeding into it too. Painting carrots and shit on the side of their plane for every enemy plane they downed. Telling each other stories in the chow hall like, guys, no shit, there I was. I pulled up behind this bomber and he hadn't seen me yet, and I wanted to find out if these guys were actually orange, so I pulled up next to him and I wanted to look inside of that phallic indentation. I mean penis perforation. I mean cockpit, sorry. So I pulled up next to him, took a look in this cockpit, and this motherfucker is bright orange. We made direct eye contact and his jaw falls into his lap and I take a big bite out of a carrot right before I drop back behind him and shoot him down. So yeah, there you have it. The epic saga of how Great Britain failed at making a death ray only to accidentally create radar, subsequently revolutionizing warfare for the rest of forever. And then in order to cover it up, they convinced the entire planet that carrots somehow gave you night vision. Best way to support the channel is to go to the Fat Electrician.
So yeah, like, this one section right here, you know, that's why they started doing night bombings, because of the radar. Like, and then they developed onboard radar, and then they just kept shitting them down at night. Like, wild stuff history is. Anyway, back to history. What do we got in 1942? Why do I suddenly sound like a 90s radio guy?
First U.S. flight to land on Guadalcanal.
Guadalcanal.
1942 Battle of Stalingrad, 600. Do I? We just do this?
No.
Leans on Stalingrad, 40,000 died.
You know, the Luftwaffe is what was the German Air Force. That's what they called them. Like, you know how we're the USAF and the Royal Air Force, they're called the Luftwaffe. So if it's a World War II German aircraft, it's the Luftwaffe. But yeah, so the 600 planes bombed Stalingrad, killing 40,000. That is yikes. So Dos Mas 42s. I mean, a lot of stuff. Like, every now and then, like, it's wild. Like, we have 4 articles in 1942, and there's a lot more in the actual source. Like, just goes to show how much history happens on a daily basis.
Yeah, right. Walter Johnson pitches to Babe Ruth in pregame attraction that draws 69,000 for New York, Washington. MLB doubleheader at Yankee Stadium raises $80,000 for the Army National Relief.
Army-Navy Relief.
Army-Navy Relief.
Yeah. All right.
1942, World War II, last cavalry charge in history takes place at Lushkin-Askis, Russia, at Italian Soviet cavalry charges Soviet infantry.
Huh. The last cavalry charge in history, 1942. That's a lot more recent than you would have thought, huh? 1943, the Red Army recaptured Charkow. All right. 1944, we have 94.5 degrees Fahrenheit or 34.7 degrees Celsius in De Bilt, Netherlands, and 101.5 degrees Fahrenheit or 38.6 degrees Celsius in Warrensveld. So, yeah, the 94 is okay, but 101, that's toasty there. 1944 as well, British General Bernard Montgomery consulted with U.S. Generals Omar Bradley and Dwight D. Eisenhower. What a weasel. Going behind Patton's back like that. What an absolute little Montgomery. What a... Ugh. 1944, Romanian royal coup. King Michael orders forces to cease. Okay. Huh. Wonder what's going there. Oh, wait. There's more. Yeah. King Michael orders forces to cease fire against allies and dismisses pro-Axis Prime Minister Marshal Ion Anesito. Okay, yeah. So stop firing on the Allied forces. All right. So yeah. So that's a movement in the coup, directing what to do. 1944, Samalekar Drancy was freed. I don't have a clue who the hell that was. Let's see here. Samalekar Drancy internment camp. Oh, okay. Okay, so that was a internment camp was freed. Okay, so it was an internment camp. What do we got here in 1944? U.S.
Sam Wellgard. 1944 U.S. B-24 crashes into the school in Freckleton, England. 76 killed.
Yikes. I guess that's one way to bomb a test. What is wrong with me? 46. To take the microphone away from me. I need to shut up.
The Big Sleep, directed by Howard Hawks and starring Humphrey Bogart, Philip Marlowe, and Laura Bacall, premiered.
Oh my god. It had to be called The Big Sleep after that article. What is wrong with me? Oh man. What else do we got? Another 46 here.
Another ordinance number 46 of the British military government constitutes the German land state of Schleswig-Holstein.
Huh. Alright. 1947, U.S. President Truman's daughter Margaret's first public singing concert. Okay, that's nifty. 48, Earl Bernadotte asked aid for fugitives to Palestine. Okay. I'm going to do a service level scratch of this article here because I'm just wondering, because this is, okay, the Bernadette plan. What is this? Officially known as the Progress Report of the United Nations Mediator on Palestine, submitted to the Secretary General for transmission on the members of the United Nations, was a plan submitted by the United Nations Mediator on Palestine, Count Folke Bernadette, to the third session of the United Nations General Assembly. The report deals with the mediation efforts between Jews and Arabs in Palestine, the two UN-supervised truces in the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, and with the refugee situation. Bernadotte was an ardent supporter of the Arab refugees' right to return. In the report, he strongly urged the provisional Israeli government to let them return to their homes. All right, so yeah, so Israel doing what Israel does, and yeah, conquering land and kicking people out of their own homes and shit. All right, what else do we got in 1948? So, World Council of Churches formed by 147 churches from 44 countries. That's pretty cool. But that's also dangerous. The churches are unifying. Like, we remember what happened last time there was a centralized power in a church.
Yeah.
They're known as the Dark Ages for a reason. What do we got here in 1950?
1915, West Germany and Japan readmitted to Intel Amateur Athletic Federation.
I think that's short for international.
International.
Yeah. I don't know why they like to abbreviate randomly things, and it's not just normal abbreviations either, like international. So.
Just write it.
Yeah, just.
Stop.
I mean, you have like there's some articles here that are paragraphs, and some articles that are like partial sentences, and it's just like just type out the full word, guys. I swear. I swear.
No. Red dog, get alone.
You got 352s. 352.
1952. Arab League security pact goes into effect.
All right.
Giants Bob Elliott is ejected for arguing a strike. Bobby Hoffman completes his bat. He strikes out and also ejected for arguing.
Huh.
Oh.
Huh. Huh. He struck out so hard he's out of the game.
Shucks. Katie Wells becomes the first woman to reach #1 on Billboard's country chart with It Wasn't God Who Made Honky Tonk Angels. Stays at the top for 15 weeks.
So what is she implying? That the devil made Honky Tonk? Like, is it a creation of sin? I mean, the devil did go down to Georgia looking for a soul to steal. But we all know how that turned out. 1953, cyclist Arie van Vliet became world champion sprinter. That's interesting. I think he was a cyclist and now he's a sprinter. So he's hopping sports here. 53 as well, former Boston Braves pitcher Phil Plain became first major leaguer to play in Japan on military service with U.S. Air Force. Played first of 9 games for the Nishishishu Lions. All right. 53 as well, Phil Great set record for throwing a baseball at 443 feet and 3 inches. That is quite a throw there. 1 year later, 1954, first flight of the C-130 Hercules transport aircraft. All right, let's take a look at this bird here really quick. C-130 Hercules, Lockheed. Yeah, this guy. I think they still use them. I'm not sure. 1954, President Getúlio Vargas of Brazil resigned temporarily. And that's an eyebrow raiser. Resigned temporarily. How do you resign temporarily? You can't come back after you quit. You know, that's not how it works. Oh. But he was the president and dictator of Brazil, so I think the temporarily implies that he came back, you know, without people intending him to do so. 1958, musical Mary Ashton completed playing piano at the Plaza Central Cinema in England, a female record of 133 hours. That's better than anything I can do, I tell you that. Can you play the piano for 133 hours?
I can't play for 5 seconds. Unless you want to hear chopsticks on
repeat
30 hours.
1958, People's Republic of China resumed bombardment of the Quemoy and Matsu Islands in the Second Taiwan Strait Crisis. Just leave the Taiwanese alone. You know, you chase them out of their home country, and now you just want blood. So, you know, why can't people just see the obvious? They don't want to reunify with Taiwan. They just want to murder. Like, bloodthirsty, evil. What do we got here in 1960?
World's largest frog, 3.3 kilograms, caught Equatorial Guinea?
Yes.
How big is that frog? Let's see this.
I'm seeing if they... Oh. Wow. That is enormous. Look at the size of that thing. Like, granted, that's a kid holding it, but this
frog
guy...
legs. Man, that's a help. Man.
That looks like an adult. Like... But, I mean, look at that.
Nuts.
Dang. It's got legs thicker than me, dude. Crazy.
Right? It wouldn't take many of those to fill you up. Right? Normally, you gotta eat like 23 of them damn things
Yeah.
to get full.
Yeah. 61.
And East Germany imposed new curbs on travel between West and East Berlin.
The beginning of the wall. Here we go. Oh, you got another 61.
U.S. lunar probe Ranger 1 reaches 190 kilometers from Earth, falls back.
So it
Oh,
wasn't
boy.
a successful launch. It just, and it was 61. It's wild to think that in the span of 8 to 9 years, we went from having trouble getting off the launch pad to landing on the moon.
I've been on the moon.
Yeah. 1962, the first Europe-U.S. live TV program via Telestar. All right. 1963, Ringo admitted he wrote a song, Don't Pass Me By. Okay. 66, Lunar Orbiter 1 takes the first photograph of Earth from the moon. Ooh, so look at that, in 5 years, we finally did make it to the moon. Which is not, it's not too outlandish. In 5 years, like, I mean, think about how fast technology is going today. Like, it was going pretty substantial back then, too. 1966 as well, the Beatles' last concert in Queens, New York City at Shea Stadium before a crowd of 45,000 with 11,000 unsold seats. Haha. Yeah. As soon as you start not selling, that's pretty much it. Well. 1968. Oh.
Well, Ringo quits the Beavers.
The Beavers.
Beatles over the disagreement. Temporary. And wasn't that the time Yoko got in there? Wasn't Ringo with Yoko? Was
I think so. Yeah, and Yoko Ono, I learned something recently about her. Like, she wouldn't give Lennon's son Lennon's diary or something, and then he had to buy it, through an auction. His own dad's diary. Like, what an evil creature Yoko Ono is. Just can't sing worth a lick. Sounds like a dying chihuahua, Probably had John Lennon killed, and then won't even give, the father's property back to the son. Like, oh man, she was a monster. So, but she will be burning in hell eventually, where she belongs, where she came from. So, what else do we got in 1968?
1968, Yanks and Tigers play 3-3 tie in 19 due to 1 a.m. curfew.
Oh, wow. Huh. So, we talked about a short game earlier today at 5 innings, and now we have 19. Huh.
Yeah.
In 1969...
France's de Lima wins international trot at Roosevelt Raceway, Czechoslovakia. First American to win cycling race title since 1912.
Wow. That's a long time. 1970, Roberto Clemente compiled his record's second straight 5-hit game. Ooh. 1972, Chicago White Sox Dick Allen is fourth player into homer into Comiskey Park center field bleachers, previously slugged by only Jimmy Fox, Hank Greenberg, and Alex Johnson. All right. 1973, Intelsat communications satellite was launched. I'm wondering, why is that so important? Was it some revolutionary, something or other? Intelsat. Okay, so as of June 2022, Intelsat operated a fleet of 52 communications satellites, which was then one of the world's largest fleets. Huh. All right. So they're still around. So this was their, I guess, their first satellite, 1973? Doesn't say so, but yeah. 1974, John Lennon reported seeing a UFO in New York City. Huh. I'm pretty sure it was the drugs. As a fellow ufologist, I don't want to disprove anything, but you gotta be skeptical above all else. You can't just go around believing every sighting. What do we got in 1975?
British free guitarist Paul Kozanoff revived from dead after heart attack. Dies for good in 1976.
Oh man. Well,
Mm,
at least he got like roughly another year. So
yeah.
yeah.
1975, communists take over Laos.
Yikes. And oh, poor Khan, who's in Mufaphone or whatever his name is. That's where they're from, right? They're
Super
Laotian.
Super Nupazone,
Yes.
yeah. 1975, Philip Kaplew conducts first Jukai ceremony in Poland.
What is a Jukai ceremony? Is it religious or something? Jukai. Oh, Buddhist. Okay. Initiation ritual. Okay, that's pretty cool. So the first Jukai Buddhist initiation in Poland. Awesome. 1976, we have heavy earthquake strikes China. Thousands die. Yeah. 77, first human-powered flight over a mile by Brian Allen in the Gossamer Condor, designed by Paul McGrady, won the first Kramer Prize. The Gossamer Condor. Human-powered, huh? Let's take a look. Is this just like some kind of air bicycle? Oh, this one. We've seen this one. I love how he's in like a giant bag, essentially. Like, let me bigger this. Like, you see him, he's in like just a giant plastic cockpit thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you know, it keeps him insulated a little bit, keeps the wind off, you know, like, maybe it's pressurized, although I don't think he's going up that high. I don't know. Anyway, 1977, Marxist philosopher Rudolf Barrow was imprisoned in German DR. Another good move from Germany right there. And 1979, the UN's Vienna office opened. All right. So Vienna, Austria, for the United Nations. What do we got in 1980?
1980, Charles O'Finley sells Oakland A's MLB franchise for $12.7 million to Walter Haas Jr., owner and CEO of Levi Strauss.
Ooh. So I wonder if he still owns it. Like a gene company, you know, made claim to fame or for outfitting, you know, prospectors and whatnot, now owns a baseball, you know, team. Pretty interesting. Oh, speaking of baseball, what do we got in 1982?
A Seattle Mariner pitcher Gaylord Perry ejected for throwing a spitter.
There's so many jokes that you can go with there. A guy named Gaylord was ejected for throwing a spitter. 85, shut me up.
Paul Hornung awarded $1,160,000 by Louisville court against NCAA, who barred him as a college football analysis for betting on games.
Huh. Well, if you're an analyst, you know, and you're betting on games and you know probabilities and everything, that gives you an unfair advantage. That's kind of like counting cards, in a way. Yeah. We have 2 87s for you if you wish.
15-year-old boy hijacks KLM B737, demands $1 billion. What the fuck?
Oh, well, first off,
Where? Where? They're leaving out so much.
Oh my
this.
god, it's an airliner. I thought it was some kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me look up the full article here.
How is he? How?
I don't know.
A 15-year-old knew how to fly a plane and land it?
I mean, and this is 1987. It's not like he had some Microsoft Flight Simulator or something on his home computer.
Exactly.
Like authorities held a 15-year-old runaway boy in isolation Thursday for questioning about how and why he struck like a bolt from the blue and hijacked a KLM jetliner carrying 97 passengers and crew. Jesus. The boy,
Wow.
a gangly 6-footer, ran away from home on December 16th using his savings to fly to Amsterdam, the Dutch city of his birth, where he and his family lived until 3 years ago, relatives said. So he ran away from home, and then he hijacked an aircraft, it sounds like. The boy threatened to blow up the plane if authorities did not meet his demands. First for $1 million and later for $4 million. A flight to New York and a reservation in a luxury hotel. Police said, "Well, if you're gonna stay in a hotel, you're gonna get caught, you retard." Like,
wow, that's wild. That's fucking wild, man.
I mean, wow. What else do we got here in 1987? That is crazy. But it didn't say billion. Like, this one says billion. At first it said million and then 4 million. $1 billion. And that's the problem. He kept demanding more. Like, anyway, what else do we got?
1987, violent rainfall and floods in Bangladesh, killing hundreds of people.
1988, Mike Tyson and Mitch Green brawl at 4 a.m. in Harlem, New York City. A 4 a.m. fight. You'd think they'd be tired. Like,
right.
1989, LA Dodgers defeated Montreal Expos 1-0 in 22 innings. Rick Dempsey, HR. Home run? Is that what that is? Oh, I guess Rick Dempsey got the only home run, the 1-0. 89 as well. The Baltic Way, 2 million people form a human chain across Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, the Baltic states, in a peaceful pro-independence demonstration against Soviet occupation. And that is our thumbnail right here. This is one of the pictures of the Baltic Way. Can you imagine, what was it, 2 million people? They're all holding hands between 3 countries. That is that is astonishing. Like, the Baltic Way. I would have loved to participate in that. Look at that. Like, here's a map of it right here. So from Vilnius and then all the way to Tallinn, from Lithuania through Latvia into Estonia, all the way from Belarus to Finland. That is wild. What do we have in 1990?
Armenia declares independence.
All right.
Also, 1990, East and West Germany announced that they would unite on October 3rd.
Awesome. Man, it's wild to think that we were alive during the Soviet Union. You know? Hey, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You have a torch right next to you. Where's mine? Fuck. Where'd it go? Here it is. Hold up your torch. It's the same exact one. Same color.
Cool.
Dude, what the hell? Anyway, what else do we got here in 1990?
The U.S. begins call up for 46,000 reservists to the Persian Gulf.
Yep. Calling in the Army Reserves. Gonna Operation Desert Shield and then Storm. 1992, Dennis Eckersley, who previously set record for most consecutive saves at 40, became the first pitcher to record 40 saves in 4 different seasons. Wow. So he has a record, and he has records within the records. That is incredible. 1992 as well, Wilhelm Verwoerd, grandson of former South African Prime Minister Hendrik Verwoerd, main architect of apartheid, joins the African National Congress. Wow. That is awesome. So the grandson of the one of the, you know, like, well, it says here main architect of apartheid, and we all know about apartheid and everything. His grandson is on the exact opposite team. That is awesome. 93, Fred McGriff and David Justice are 6 to hit back-to-back home runs twice in the same game. Woo! That's pretty cool. You know, it's wild. Like, things like that make me wonder, you know, if it was staged. You know,
yeah.
Like, cause like, you know, it's wild that things like that happen, but you know they don't happen often. But they happen to a point where it's just like, okay, this is getting a little too much. So, because there's a lot of records, like, you know, we just the past couple months alone, you know, King, like, you know, we've had a lot of articles, you know, in that general sense, if I'm making any sense.
Yeah.
But what do we got here in 95?
1995, Indians Jose Mesa sets record with his 38th consecutive save.
Ooh, nice. Talk about a clincher right there.
Yeah.
Here,
1996, Osama bin Laden issues message entitled A Declaration of War against the Americans occupying the land of the two holy places.
so I presume that's something to do with the Euphrates River, Tigris, Euphrates. Like, I'm not sure. In the year 2000, a Gulf Air Airbus A320 crashed into the Persian Gulf near Manama, Bahrain, killing 143. Yeah. And while that was going on, Nicaragua became a member of the Berne Convention Copyright Treaty. This essentially depreciated the Buenos Aires Convention Treaty because, as of this date, all members of the BA Convention were also signatories of Berne. So look at that. One treaty supersizing another because everybody's just signing everything. 2004, a U.S. sweep in the 400-meter medals at the Athens Olympics. Jeremy Wernier, gold in 44, ahead of Otis Harris and Derek Brew. That's one hell of a lead, 44 seconds or whatever this is. I don't know. 44.0, whatever that means. 2004 as well, winning pitcher Lisa Fernandez for the Nun led the U.S. to the softball gold medal at the Athens Olympics, defeating Australia 5-1. And what do we got here in 2005?
Hurricane Katrina forms over the Bahamas, later becoming a Category 5 hurricane.
It begins.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
That one.
Yep.
2006, Natasha Comfrey, who was abducted at the age of 10, managed to escape her captor, Wolfgang Prickloppel, after 8 years of captivity.
Man. So, 10 to 18. She lost her entire childhood. Like,
Yeah.
now she's 18. Now she's an adult. That sucks. Like, man. This Wolfgang Prickloppel, like, there is no amount of torture, suitable for this person, doing, like, atrocious things like this to children. Like, these people, ugh. Like what's the amendment that gets rid of cruel and unusual punishment? That should be ignored for people like this. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely beyond satanic. Like, what else do we have here?
The 2007 hashtag invented the first used in a tweet by U.S. product designer Chris Messina.
So now we know who, what filth to blame on that crap. It's the pound sign. It's the number sign. What's this hashtag crap? Oh. 2008, Australian driver Matthew Mitchum won the men's 10-meter platform gold medal with final drive at the Beijing Olympics, prevented Chinese from winning every diving event. Oh, I'm reading this as driving, crikey. Achieves highest score for an individual dive in Olympic history, 112.10. I'll throw that shrimp on the barbie, mate. 2008 as well, the star-studded American women's basketball team led by the likes of Lisa Leslie, Sue Bird, and Diana Tassari won the gold medal at the Beijing Olympics with a convincing 92-65 win over Australia. Well, look at that. And I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were going to say something?
Oh, no.
2010, we have the Manila hostage crisis, which occurred at the Carino Grandstand in Manila, where a dismissed police officer took hostage a tour bus full of Chinese nationals. What do we have here in 2011?
5.8 earthquake occurs in Mineral, Virginia, felt as far as north as Ontario and as far south as Atlanta, Georgia. Oof.
Wow. So basically, the entire eastern seaboard felt that thing.
Yeah. 2011, Libyan leader Mohammed Gaddafi, Gaddafi is overthrown after the National Transitional Council forces take control of Bab al-Azia compound during the 2011 Libyan civil war.
I wonder if that's when he got Gaddafi.
God.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, for those who know, they know. For those who don't, you know,
Ooh.
it probably wouldn't be the worst thing said or done on this show, but I don't want to give information. So,
Mm.
well, they essentially took a knife and they put it where the sun don't shine, in him. So, yeah. 2012.
4 people are killed and 28 injured in hot air ballooning incident in Slovenia.
That's scary. That is, like, yeah. I'm not sure if I'll ever ride an airplane, you know, after what's going on with Boeing and all the DEI crap, you know, happening today. Like, things are scary enough. Like, and then now you're in a hot air balloon. Like, that's just, man, you don't even have the option to glide down. You're just a stone. Yikes. 2013, UN inspectors are stopped by Syrian government from investigating a reported site of a chemical massacre. That's suspicious. You know, why won't they let us come in and see? Almost as if they're trying to cover up their guilt. 2014, Alex Puccio placed second in the Boulder World Championship in Munich, Germany. What? Boulder World Championship. Can you come up with any idea what is this? Oh, climbing. Okay, so it's climbing. I thought it was like a strongman competition. They move boulders or whatever. But no, it's climbing. Why not call it the Climbing World Championship? That's dumb. 2015, what do we got here?
12-year-old boy trips and rips 17th century painting Flowers by Pablo Porpera worth 1.5 mil exhibition in Taiwan. Oh my god.
I don't know, man. Something tells me that boy didn't trip accidentally. Like, I don't know. You know how kids are destructive. They enjoy being nuisances.
Oh yeah.
And it's a Western painting in an Eastern exhibition. You know. Anyway, what else do we got here? 2015?
Destruction by IS of the 1st century AD temple of Baal Shaman in ancient ruins, Palmyra, confirmed by Syrian officials.
I think that's supposed to be ISIS. Because you know how they were going around, plundering and destroying like sites all over the place.
Yeah.
So, 2017, we have an airstrike in a hotel in Yemen capital Sana'a by Saudi-led coalition left at least 30 dead. We also have Indian toll from swine flu rose above 1,000 for the year. 22,186 cases reported. Nearly 60 million people in the Indus Valley, Pakistan, at risk from arsenic in research published in Science Advances. That's scary. U.S. Navy fired Vice Admiral Joseph Aucoin as commander of the 7th Fleet following a series of collisions in Asian waters. And 2017, last but not least, world's driest place, the Atacama Desert in Chile, bloomed after an unexpected rainfall. So the past, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 articles all happened on the same day and same year. That's crazy. What do we got here in 2018?
Tenor Placido Domingo sings his 150th opera role as Bitzets the Pearl Fishers at Salzburg Festival, Austria.
Nice. 150th opera. That's a lot.
Yeah. 2019, Russia launched its first floating nuclear power station, the Akademik Lomosov, from Port Murmasks.
That's scary. A floating nuclear. Why? Like,
Yeah.
just because you can? Like, why? I mean, I guess it has, immediate access to water, but it also has immediate access to polluting said water. Um, and obviously it has to be, harbored constantly. So it's floating, yes, but it's non-movable. So what's the point? This is weird. It looks cool. It looks like they literally just retrofitted a ship or something. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. That's so weird.
Hmm.
Huh. Anyway. What else do we got here? Oh, here we go.
2019, Russia launches its first floating nuclear power station blah, 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 from port of Murmansk. Oh, wait. Did I go through that? Do that one.
Yes.
2020, U.S. black man Jacob Blake shot and injured by police in front of children in Kenosha, Wisconsin, prompting violent.
Here we go. And this is after the whole George Floyd thing, right? Floyd was 2020 or 21?
Yeah.
I don't remember. But I remember it was earlier in the summer, I think, when he got. Yeah. Anyway, what else happened? 2021?
2021, U.S. Drug and Food Administration grants full approval to Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for people 16 and over. First vaccine to move past emergency use status in the U.S.
Let's not forget that Trump expedited the vaccine. A lot of people cover for him, saying that Fauci was lying to him. But at the end of the day, all these people, they have to be working together. But that aside, the first vaccine to move past emergency use status in the U.S., you don't see the plays that they're doing. Come on, people, wake up. The vaccine was not brought out for COVID. COVID was brought out for the vaccine. Cancel me all you want, with your medical misinformation labels, YouTube. I don't care. You're not the only boy on the block anymore. Google. We're not scared of you. 2021, video evidence of a Seychelles giant tortoise hunting and eating a bird revealed for the first time. Tortoise previously thought to be herbivores. So, wow. So, a giant tortoise hunting... How does a tortoise hunt a bird?
Patience.
Now I have won. You remember that from Cyanide Happiness?
Yeah.
2022, former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak began a 12-year prison sentence for money laundering after the High Court rejected his final appeal. Huh. All right. That doesn't seem steep enough of a service there. Only 12 years. He deserves a lot more than that. 2022 as well. In U.S. domestic terrorism case, 2 men were found guilty of plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Okay. That's weird. Although I just got a random... Remember
that involved the FBI. The FBI were like, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this. Hey. Something like that.
Yeah, that reminds me of a scene from Boondocks in one of the first episodes. Didn't they try to kidnap Oprah, but they ended up kidnapping Bill Cosby or something?
Or something like that.
Yeah. What do we got here in 2022?
2023, at least 26 people killed after a railway bridge under construction collapses near Indian town of Sarang, Mizoram State.
I don't blame you for skipping the 2022 one. And if anybody cares, they can see this right here on the screen. But I do want to say, what a trashy legacy to have. Super freaky girl and doo-wop that thing. Are you kidding me? That's your claim to fame. That's what's, that's what's number one. Really? Gross. Absolutely gross. What else do we got here? We got 3 more 23s. That should be it. Yep.
2023 Greek wildfires claimed 20 lives, including 18 migrants, try to cross the border from Turkey.
Womp womp. That's what you get for being illegals.
Yeah. India's Chandrayaan-3 lunar mission as the first to land at the moon's southern pole successfully and the 4th country to ever land on the moon.
Awesome. So the U.S., there has to be Japan, China, I believe, and then now Turkey. Although so no European nation has landed on the moon? You know what, let me look this up here. What countries have landed on the moon? Let's see here. So let's see. Moon landing. Keep getting all these stupid pop-ups. So we have Russia, U.S., China, India, and Japan. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it wasn't. So it was so Russia, China, India, Russia, China, Japan, and India. That's 4, and then Russia was 5. And what did this say? And the 4th country to ever land on the moon. But there's been 5. It's right here. Russia, U.S., China, India, and Japan. That's 5. But it says 4. That's weird. Russia was the first to actually land on the moon, then us. You know, like, I'm not talking about humans. I'm just talking about actually touching it. And then Japan, China, because China is recent. I remember that. And then India. But why are they saying 4th, not 5th? I'm sorry, going off on a tangent there. That's just it really irks me. Like they're right before our eyes, just disproved it right there. 4th country, my rear end. There's been 5. Anyway, last but not least, what do we got here?
Indians Chandra mission. Oh, the Yevgeny Prigozhin, head of the Wagner mercenary group, reported killed along 9 others in a plane crash northwest of Moscow, according to Russian Federal Air Transport Agency.
Obviously, they got shot down. I mean, that was... Remember when Wagner was opposing Russia for a little bit, and then they just did another 180? Like, that was weird. So... Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links you may be interested in, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition, from history sources, collected links, all that stuff. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day, or try to, at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. We do have other shows, from history to news, movie reactions, and reviews, and also Omni Kitchen. Check the underbar. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander.
King's Refuge.
And you are you viewer. Thank you once again so much for coming in and watching us. Until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Deuces.
Move this over here in the stream.